Good day, everyone, and welcome to Green Hell Racing's inaugural race of their inaugural season for PC Assetto Corsa Competizione. I thank you all for joining me. My name is Adam. I bring these races to you live each and every Saturday at 12:45 p.m. Eastern, where you are welcome to join us. But if for whatever reason you can't, you can bet we'll be back each and every week bringing you all the racing action here. Again, this being our PC League in the inaugural season. Today we are starting off at Donington Park for this initial race. But the season's going to play through a whole bunch of different locations, each more enjoyable than the last, culminating in October with a 4-hour endurance race. So again, I thank you all for being here. You can catch the races live over at twitch.tv/MolsonFL, but we will always post them here, ready to go for you to watch later on. And with that, introductions done, let's head down to qualification. We got a 15-minute qual for a 45-minute race today. Let's go see how much action we can bring you on today's track. As we jump in and drivers have started to join, is the stream title wrong for anyone else? It probably is, Chief. Yeah, it is. I'll fix that right now. Thank you, though, for letting me know. Too much stuff to set up for the first PC race. As we watch Zorax go out on his first lap, I will get that set up. And there we go, we should be good. Let me know if that's fixed, folks. I appreciate it. And real quick, there is the map for Donington, so everybody can take a look. And I can tell you right now, those two hairpins at the end of the circuit are not the most fun you are ever going to have on a racetrack. At least not for me. I think some people enjoy them, but I am not one of those people. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate you letting me know, man. That's my fault. Again, trying to set up for today. And missed out on that, so my apologies. So we take a look. We got Zorax in and running out. Mr. Aaron driving that BMW number 97. L. Fleischig, number 98. Caleb Stevens, Red Rider in his Lamborghini. And look at that livery. What did he do to that car? That looks like the after effects of what happens after the end of drinking and driving on Friday nights. But good for him. You could be brave to bring that out here. Jay Melitti, followed up closely by Jay Rive. As we watch the cameraman go for a swing. Ferrari fuel tank too small into race today. Mr. Huffman still sitting in the pits. Broken Clutch Motorsports in there with him. Greeny out on track and running. Along with B. Hall. R. Cilliers. And Jay Leisbo. I am going to have to learn everybody's names. And we see our first times have just now started to come in. Zorax currently sitting up front with a 126.7. Wangle Snatcher with a 128. Everybody starting to fall in behind with 128s, and Red Rider sitting with a 130 right now. That's funny you say that, Chief, because it's actually running at 720p today. Right now, Ferrari fuel tank too small with a 128.2 sitting in second, but Wrangle Snatcher right behind with a 128.335, and Greeny with a 128.362 going into this. Our top five right now sitting all up in the 128 range. Unfortunately, doesn't appear to be any way to display the timing for you guys. So I will work on that as well. Zorax and Wrangle Snatcher now back into the pits. Red able to bring his down to a 1.293. Chief, I absolutely love spectator mode more in PC, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. One, I can use a mouse to control it. Two, I found a program that's displaying all of the deltas, all the best times, all the gaps between the other drivers, their times in sectors 1, 2, and 3, the number of laps they've done. I can click on the camera and the driver to change to any person, anytime, or any person, anytime. I can also go ahead and hit that button. Oh, and I hope that didn't break it. It looks like it broke it. There it goes. And that is actually a 15-second replay. It looks like it just took a little second to kick in there. But this software does allow me to run a replay up to 60 seconds at any time. So, and then jumps automatically back to live. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And again, guys, as always, please let me know if the audio isn't mixed right, if something's not operating correctly and you can't hear me, you can't hear the drivers. We also always have the option to jump over and take a look at what Huff is up to, along with Russell Racing today for our on-track view. So as we watch, with 12 minutes left in qualifying, Zorax still holding P1 right now. Ferrari fuel tank too small in number 2. Brought it down to a 1.277, so no one else able to hit the 1.26 mark yet. But at least folks are tightening up their times, right? Greeny also sitting in the pits right now with a 1.278, and Fleshsig with a 1.27 as well. That's your top 4. Wrangle Snatcher starts the 1.28s as folks fall back from there. Thank you, Beefy. I appreciate it. Been trying to build those this week, so. Oh, I'm going to lose another one to PC Racing soon. It'll be Chief. It's going to be me and Zorax and Beefy over driving on Xbox. I need a third monitor. Beefy needs a sound. I'll have to find Beefy a sound. I'm sure we can dig one up. Ten minutes now left in qualifying, folks. Yes, that's correct, Chief. Especially this one. I don't even think I ever added the alerts to the PC scenes of overlays. So that will not work today. But as I was saying, 10 minutes left in qualifying. Zorax still holding that number 1 position with a 126.3. Has yet to improve, but also holding on to all 3 purple sectors as of right now. Ferrari fuel tank bringing up number 2. 1.4 off the pace, however. Zorax clearly running away right now. A few of the drivers jumping back into the pits. Broken Clutch Motorsports and Mr. Stevens, Red Rider. BB Lightfoot now joining. We got 17 drivers at this point. Excellent turnout for the inaugural race of the inaugural season. Only 2 drivers so far, Mr. Carolt and BB Lightfoot, have yet to set times, both joining late into qualifying. We will see if they can bump themselves up the list before the race starts here in 8.5 minutes. BB's still in the pits. Do you mean the names over the vehicles, Max? Their lap time for qual. That's all I can give you, babe. That's all it will give me. I cannot post it on screen at the same time as, so if we're doing this, right? If that's what I got, all I can do is this. So we at least have opportunity to check this as time runs out in qualifying. We'll put this up for, say, the last minute of qual so we can watch this change. Nice mix of vehicles today. McLaren's, Ferraris. A lot of McLaren's, Ferraris. A lot of Ferraris. What I do notice is missing is no Bentleys on this side. No Bentleys running today on the PC side. Zorax getting his time down a bit to a 126.1. Again, still the only driver on course today to break below 127. But Greeny right now showing a 10th up on their fastest time. And Wrangle Snatcher as well, currently over half a second ahead of his 128.3 that is currently posted. Wrangle Snatcher, however, dropping a good bit of time, now running a little bit behind. Able to get himself up into 5th, however. Now again, folks, one thing to keep in mind is we do have Pro and AM class drivers on course today together. Prior to today's race, I did not have a list of who is who. I think we all obviously know, like Zorax, folks like that are right up there in our pro class. However, there are many I do not know who's in AM and who is not. So it's going to make things a little interesting today. We're going to see a really wide spread of times, right? We got Zorax with a 126. We've got a few drivers on track right now with a 132. I don't think that necessarily is reflective of pro times, however, as we look down through the list. Again, BB Lightfoot, the only one to not yet set a qualifying time. But Melity sitting with a 132, and Licebo right in front of him with a 131. Wrangle Snatcher taking a break. Clueless Geezer. Who are you talking about? It could be because it's pulled back, Chief. It is low. Because if we go in car, I can bring it up a little bit. But I think it has to do with the fact that we're in that helicopter view right now, so you're well pulled back from the cars. Red Rider has entered the chat, and as we look here, Ferrari, fuel tank too small. You're saying he was saying all week how he was terrible, and now he's in 4th currently with qualifying with just over 3 minutes left to go. And we have a late entrant. A Sea Lord has now joined the paddock. Bring us to a total of 18 drivers today. Great to see for the first race of our PC League at Green Hell Racing. I think race day is leg day, isn't it, Chief? Do you get to count that as leg day if you're pushing pedals for 45 minutes? Huffmanic out trying to set another speedy time, currently sitting in 14th. I apologize. And Russell Racing, let's take a check on them. Now sitting in 10th overall. He said, no, that's Zorax. I'm chilling before the race start. Must be nice. See, I thought we were watching you, Huff, and here you tricked me. And as we roll down, folks, in the last 45 seconds of qual, there are your current standings. We can sit here and watch and see if anything changes in the last minute and a half of qualification. And I do not like calling anything out during qual. We will take a look at our grid once things have settled down a little bit, because there's always somebody looks to make a change right at the end. I think it's safe to say, however, with a 1.1 second gap, I don't think Green or Hall or anybody's going to be catching Zorax with a 126.1. Definitely the fastest today during qualification. No one else even touching that 126 mark. Greeny, Hall, Ferrari, and Wrangle Snatcher, and Fleshig moving himself up into a 127. That's your top 6 right there, all in the 127. So we look to get some great racing going on today. Just swing over and take a look at Huff. don't know, Huff. I don't know which car you are. And as qualifying comes to an end, folks, there is your grid for today's opening race of Season 1, Green Hell Racing's PC League. Zorax in pole position in row 1 with Greeny. Hall and Ferrari making up row 2. Wrangle Snatcher and Fleischig in row 3 with Rive and Broken Clutch Motorsports in row 4. Pignot and Aaron sitting in row 5. Coralt and Sillers, in row 6. Red Rider, Caleb Stevens, sitting in row 7 with Mr. Huffman. And Lisbo and Lord making up row 8. And BB Lightfoot and Melody in row 9 today. Excellent qualification from all. So we get ourselves pulled back here and ready for the opening of this race. Again, only one camera angle during PC races, guys, so I'm going to do my best to catch all the action. We will look to pop off replays any chance I have. As we wait for the countdown. Well, Chief, this is better, but I can still only have one camera because there's only one instance of the game running on my PC, and I don't have 7 PCs to run everything. So we will have to sit back and catch everything we can. And given the start point, no full formation lap for today's race. So we will be going at it very quickly as the guys line up in double file. Green light goes. Drive through right out of the gate for B Hall in number 3 as we come down into T1. Backing up now. Things getting bumpy in the back. And that's not good at all. Cars all over the place. Red Rider sitting back in the dirt. Zorax pulling away up front, but Greeny trying to keep things tight. And again, the entire field staying tight throughout this. I got to try and get rid of all this stuff. That's weird. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't realize I had to do that to jump it. It's like Pino. No. Somebody off into the dirt right away through the chicane. Zorax again keeping himself out of trouble as we come down into the first hairpin at the end of the first lap. With a nice nudge right there, coming through the second hairpin, causing all kinds of trouble for people. And lap 1 is complete, and certainly not a clean one. So, Chief, now that lap 1 is over, I will answer you. I did not ask because, from what you have told me, you don't have a PC that would run the game. Therefore, if you can't run the game, you can't spectate to commentate. I would have asked you, but from what I understood, you didn't have something that would actually. I wouldn't game on this laptop, but it will run the game well enough for me to be able to spectate. That's why I didn't ask. I think I'm going to switch to my other software because that one has an auto director that will go to the closest battles on track. So this is going to be a little difficult to track here, folks. If we head back, Sillers now tightening up on the back end of Coralt as we come down through. Chief, if that is the case, we will set that up, my man. I can send you the software I use for cameras and everything. I'm using this one, but I don't know if I like it. There's another one I have that I might try. So. Sea Lord now up on the back of Pino. Keeping things very tight. As both run wide. And wide again. Not going to go well there. That is unfortunate. Causing a complete disaster through that entire turn. Going very wide. Max, it does. It's an auto race director. It's not super accurate. I would have to continually watch, and sometimes it just goes to the lead driver and doesn't do anything else. So you do have to be careful with it to try and get it to stop doing that. But yeah, it's kind of designed to jump up and show you the closest battle. Really a rough start to the first PC race for Green Hell Racing. Even going in now into lap 3, a lot of trouble on track for the drivers today. So we take a look at Ferrari now currently running in 5th after getting out through, as we watch Huffman dropping very quickly through the ranks. Obviously struggling into his 3rd lap. Zorax, according to what you see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, is buried in the grass, apparently. I don't feel that that is accurate. He's still showing in 1st, but let's jump up. Greeny now running in 2nd after 3 laps completed with just under 40 minutes left in today's race. Wrangle Snatcher in 3rd. Pino currently running in 4th with Ferrari in 5th. J Rive now tightening up on Sillers again, and right behind them, BB Lightfoot trying to make the move to get around Lisbo. Ferrari now tightening it up on Pino very quickly. And I don't know what is going on with Zorax, because according to the software he's still driving, but has a 1 minute gap over green. I'll have to see what is going on there, but let's jump back real quick. Red Rider now tightening up on the back of Lord. Currently sitting in 12th. All three of these drivers running very close together right now. And some more tightening up towards the front, with Ferrari able to get around Pino. Let's try and take a jump back real quick, see if this works. Or crashes, whatever. And there we see it. Ferrari able to make that move, putting himself up into 4th place. As we jump back to live, Broken Clutch Motorsports, this entire group running very tight, as Ferrari and Pino both take opportunity to dive into the pits early. Sillers pushing Broken Clutch Motorsports very hard today. And apparently Zorhax was able to find a shovel, remove his vehicle from the dirt, as we watch Lord going double up with Red Rider, BB Lightfoot, and Lisbo. Playing Foursquare down into the chicane. Let's see how this plays. BB with a bump, but can Lord manage it? Able to hold on and actually pull up a little bit. That's not BB, I apologize. Still got to learn everybody's livery. Red Rider. Parking the Lamborghini up under the rear end of Lisbo's Porsche. Cilliers now into the pits. Red taking out the marking post, but able to maintain good speed coming back up the hill. So jump back. Red looks like Red lost a little bit in that corner, but now Carrault coming up on the back end of Melidi. And Aaron also pulling up on Broken Clutch Motorsports. Daniel able to make the move through that tight hairpin at the end of the lap. And Broken Clutch headed into the pits now. Red still sticking to the back end of Lisbo. Kuro? Kuro? I should have known that. Max, you know what? You're absolutely right. I apologize. Kuro. Again, Red very fast down through the hill, able to make the play this time. Let's see if he can hold on to it. We saw this last lap where he was able to push right down the hill, but not quite able to execute. This time, able to pull it off and get himself ahead of Lisbo. Caro now pushing. Best lap so far with a 129.6. The straight headed down into the chicane seems to be a favorite passing spot from what we've seen so far today. But not quite able to hold it, being stuck on the outside. As we watch BB Lightfoot and Huffman come through the chicane and down the hill. BB applying pressure. But much like many other people struggling through these hairpins, they are so slow. Heading back now, Caro on the back end of Melody. Looking for a gap and unable to find one. I'll ask y'all to stick with me for one moment here as I look to switch softwares real quick. Looking now as Caro looks to make the move on the inside and just gets cut off. Zorak still running out front. So we take a quick look here at our current timetable. Zorak's in with 10 laps so far, 15 minutes gone. Greeny now 13 seconds off his pace. And Zorak's just running away with it. At what point does he need to find other people to race with, right? I don't like this. And again, Caro this time able to clear the move around Militi. And once again, the question becomes, can he hold on to it? But he has been applying pressure for at least 2 laps at this point, looking for his opportunity. And it appears as though he finally found it. Huffman, and that Castrol Lexus with Wrangle Snatcher side by side into the hairpin, but not quite able to clear it. And Wrangle Snatcher now able to make that move. As Huff runs wide out into the dirt. Blaine Hall up on the back of Ferrari fuel tank. Too small, who we find now are in 16th place. Given where he qualified, seems quite low. Ferrari trying to hold on as Hall goes wide. Side by side through T1, gonna head down the hill together, holding hands. And Hall able to make the move and get around him. Excellent play on his part. Ruth and Cilliers. Approximately 25 minutes left, or Max. And I will do my best to update y'all on that. Broken Clutch Motorsports now. As we see Huffman is headed into the pits. And now with 25 minutes left in today's race, let's take a quick look down through the list. As you can see, Zorak still running out in front. Now opening that gap to 18 seconds over Greeny, with Aaron in number 3, 15 seconds back off the pace. Those are your top 3. Red Ryder now sitting in 4th. How that happened, nobody knows, but Caleb able to work himself up towards the front, doing very well. With pit stops and whatnot, I don't know if he still needs to head in during the course of this race. Taking a look now, we do see that Red needs to clear that pit. A good number of our drivers having already done so. As we watch, Red will now look to start clearing his back markers. get out in front. Yeah, he hasn't headed in yet as we watch a driver coming out of the pits. Very dangerous pit entry and exit here, I feel. Huffman again running wide out into the dirt, clearing the space for Red to get around. Red and Corot, two of our only drivers to have not cleared pit stop yet. Wrangle snatcher right up on the back end of Corot at this point. Now, if I know Corot's got to go into the pits, I'm not overly concerned about my pass. But looks like he wants to make the play here. And is able to do so. Very clean it coming into the chicane. Wrangle Snatcher jumping himself up into fourth. And for the first time, we take a look and see that Zorax is running in second position behind Greeny. Both of whom. Oh, I apologize. Greeny has not yet cleared pit. And we see that car number 39, Pino with a drive-through, as Red Rider heads in for his mandatory pit stop. Why would it do that? Aaron right now back up on the rear end of J. Rive. Looks like Daniel considered the play to the inside and then backed out. Corot now into the pits, going to clear that mandatory stop. BB Lightfoot, the only one to not yet clear his mandatory pit stop. Currently running in fourth. Greeny as well, still not having cleared. And in he goes, clearing the way for Zorax to move back up into first position. As we watch, Aaron still putting pressure on Jay Rive today. And losing it right there, giving Jack just a little bit of a reprieve, at least temporarily. Broken Clutch Motorsports now on the back end of Red Rider, Caleb Stevens. Red having a great race today, in all honesty. Qualled in around number 12 or 13. Now up in 7th as we watch Broken Clutch take it around the inside. Red going very wide. And Clutch able to make that move. Jumping himself up in the 7th position. Going back now, B. Hall. Blaine. Oh, went for the same play around Vincent and not able to make it happen this time. Coming into the final hairpin before starting another lap. And having to cut very hard to avoid an incident. All 4 drivers now running very tight. Jadar closing gap along with Camel Lord. As we've seen earlier today, down the hill, looking to swing back up is a great opportunity to make a pass. Camel able to take that corner around the outside. Get himself bumped up very, very easily. Daniel still on the rear end of Jack now as we come into T1. Dusty, thank you so much for being here, my man. I appreciate you. I was unable to catch your stream earlier today, but I thank you for being here and stopping in. Aaron with a little wobble on that curb. Taking a look back now, Blaine still running very tight with Vincent. Group of 4 coming down the hill. Blaine not giving a moment of rest as we head back uphill and then down into the chicane. Vincent not looking to let him draft off the back end of his car. Looking as though Blaine had to slow it down as we see Camel attempting to make a move down the hill, but unable and going deep inside but into the grass, cutting a lot of speed. This is our battle currently, folks. Everyone, Vincent, Blaine, and Camel, all within 1 second of each other. Just under 13 minutes left to go in today's inaugural race at Donington Park. I do want to thank everybody for joining me. For anyone unaware, exclamation GHR in the chat will bring you to the Green Hell Racing Discord server, where you can come and participate in these races on PC or Xbox, as well as F1 Xbox races, along with Dirt Rally 2.0 championships. Blaine again, looking to push hard, coming down into the hairpin. So again, folks, what started off as some really rough racing today, as we jump up and take a look at Daniel on the rear end of Jack again. What started off today is some really rough racing. Obviously, a pretty rough opening lap, lap 2 even, where we saw some spins. But look, we saw the same thing when we had a lot of new drivers for the Xbox League, right? It happens. And again, with mixed classes, not everybody who's on track today is pulling those pro speeds, nor is everyone on track today having the same amount of experience as the other drivers around them. So obviously, to be expected, I think, in our first race, as we take a look, I think that's no, who's going wide out there? We'll jump back. Jack again feeling the pressure from Daniel as we come across the start-finish line one more time. Just under 11 minutes left in today's race. But as I was saying, I really think, to be expected in a first league race, even with all the fun races leading up to it, there's a different feeling to a fun race. People bump, people bounce, etc. You don't feel the same as you do during a league race, right? It doesn't have the same impact. So I think as we watch this season move on, as we get new drivers, it's going to continue for a little while, but I do think, again, much like the Xbox League, I think we're going to see a lot more clean racing as the season goes on. So certainly nothing to get upset about up front. Obviously, there'll be some hurt feelings. That's okay. We have incident reporting. You come on over. You throw your incidents out there, and someone will certainly take care of you. Should have joined you guys. My league last night was rescheduled. Looks like clean racing. You know what, Brandigan? It is for the most part. Again, we had a little bit of a rough start today. But again, I think a little bit to be expected up front. You, Zap, come on over to the Discord. You should be able to join in. I don't see why not. Just because you missed the first race means nothing. In this season, I believe the lowest 3 finishes will be discounted from your scores. So you're more than welcome to come on over and start racing 100% with our PC League, our Xbox League, our Xbox F1 League, and even participating in some Dirt Rally 2.0 championships, if that is your choice. Taking a look back, Blaine again still giving Vincent grief and aggravation back here for number 10 and 11 position. And yes, we are always welcoming racers to our league. More than welcome to join. 17 on track today. A great turnout for the inaugural race. Zap, if you head to the PC section, I don't know if you race on PC or Xbox. Either way, head to that section. The first Xbox race isn't until tomorrow. As we watch now, Blaine giving a push to Vincent, unable to control it coming down the hill and looking to try and hold that position for him and let him have it back. But Camel not wanting anything to do with it and want to take both of them. And we are stacked up again as we come around to head back downhill into that chicane. Little push there, little push. But yeah, whether you're Xbox or PC, Zap, feel free. Someone on the Discord will be able to direct you where you need to go. I don't have it up in front of me to be able to do that live right now, but someone will be able to help you get there and give you everything you need. Jumping back up front, Aaron now on the back end. BB Lightfoot getting himself all the way up into 4th position, with Daniel now applying pressure. And again, a little bump there. Aaron going around the inside. BB struggling, it looks like. It almost looks like Daniel made the pass, but then was slower than what BB was expecting. And BB had to really back it off in order not to just pile drive him coming down the hill into the chicane, if I had to guess. Again, heading back to take a look at Blaine Hall. Camel now making the move side by side. Able to pull just a little more speed, and again, some door banging as we come in. Head back down towards the chicane again. Seems to be where all the action is getting to the top of the hill and heading back down. Carroll now with a drive-through. Huffman. It looks like Carroll headed right in to clear that mandatory drive-through. As we take a look up front, just over 5 minutes left to go in today's race. Folks, let's take a walk down through it. Zorax right now up front, though they're over a 5-second lead over Green. And I call bull on that because I'm showing 41 seconds between the two of them. But let's jump right back into it. We do not have time for that right now as we watch Camel still trying to make the move on Blaine and not yet able to pull that off. Both of them on the back end of Red Rider now. In his extremely colorful Lamborghini. He certainly will not be hiding anywhere on track today. Starting now, lap 26 for these guys. Blaine looking to go side by side with Red down the hill. Now, if you're Red Rider right now, you are extremely nervous as both these drivers are looking to apply pressure to you at the same time. As Red dips a toe into the dirt, coming back up the hill now. Trying to maintain speed through every turn and open up a little bit of a gap here. Camel and Blaine side by side behind him. Red able to hold on to head downhill into the chicane. Blaine thinking about coming around the inside of that hairpin down into T1. Red able to hold on right now. And right there, Blaine with a drive-through. And I apologize, folks. Things just got weird for a second. Things got really weird. Well, there we go. Let's let that happen. Yeah, I broke it. Mainly because it didn't tell me it would do that, so that's okay. So again, Blaine with that drive-through. As I get my software rebooted here. Things spreading out just a bit at this point towards the end of a race. Less than a minute to go. BB Lightfoot coming up on the back end of Hoffman. J. Rive going way wide.
Leaders on final lap now.
There we go, folks. Zorax now on the final lap of today's race. Blaine still sitting on that drive-through penalty. Greeny currently sitting in second as we watch Mr. Hall dive into the pits to clear that drive-through. Obviously going to cost him some time. Caro now on the back end of Lisbo. And with that, folks, our race timing has run down. We know Zorax is on that last lap. Gamma Lord still pushing on the back end of Red Rider. And unable to hold on, trying to push out to gain just one more spot before the end of the race. Obviously, leaving Red plenty of time coming in towards the end. And that is that, folks, as we take a look. Zorax has finished today's race. And we will get times as the screen comes up. But thank y'all for joining me as we watch the end of this and everybody start to come across the line. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And joining to watch these guys drive. I am not the focus. They are. I do my best to capture everything I can. Again, first PC race. I'm really trying to learn the software, trying to pick the right software, the one I want to use. And hopefully we'll find the one we need to give you guys as much action as possible. Don't forget, tomorrow, Xbox racing on ACC. We will have 2 races tomorrow afternoon starting at 12:45 p.m. Eastern. First our Pro class and then AM. There are your times. We'll bring that up to finish out. Every week you can come back on Saturdays again at 12:45 Eastern. We saw the schedule earlier. And I will throw it up again before we're done here. But every week we'll be back for more ACC action on track. I thank you again all for joining me. It is very much appreciated. Your patience is appreciated as I learn what I need to know to be able to bring you the best race possible. We will continue to follow along, and hopefully I will have timings starting next week so that we can go ahead and be able to show standings each and every week throughout the season for both PC and Xbox. Folks, my name is Adam. That is today's race. Let me throw that calendar up for you one more time just so you guys can see it and know that we will be back next week, September 4th, at Zandvoort, another standard race, 15-minute qual, 45-minute race. Week after, my favorite, Spa, come back for an endurance, 70 minutes of racing. We will do our best. Also, for all the drivers that maybe had this on in the background, or if you haven't yet watched it and you want to, give me this week to get it edited down, and I will post this to the YouTube channel specifically for the races. Thank you all so much.